Today we're taking a look at some great gear for visual effects artists. Welcome to FilmRiot, the show that takes mystery out of the effects and techniques, going to some of your favorite Hollywood films. I'm your host, Ryan Conley, and we had our filmmaker Christmas list a few weeks ago, but that list is more about writing, shooting, and editing, so we decided to break out visual effects lists for you as well. So let's do that. Starting with software, first up on the list is Houdini Indie. Houdini is a crazy powerful animation and visual effects tool and is usually too expensive to even consider for entry-level artists, but you can get Houdini Indie for $200 a year as a freelance artist. Next we have Modo Indie from the Foundry, which is great paint and texture software that was actually designed for Avatar and goes for $150. Also from the Foundry we have Modo. This is 3D software that is famous for its animation capabilities. It goes for $300, but you can also get it bundled with Mari for $380. Sticking with the Foundry again, if you're just getting started and only doing personal non-commercial work just to learn, then you can get a non-commercial version of Nuke and Mari for free. There are restrictions, of course, which you can find all about on their page, but if you're not doing commercial gigs and are just trying to learn, this is perfect. Next up is Zbrush Core, which has all the essential elements of the ZBrush software. As they say, it's the best way to get started sculpting and painting. ZBrush goes for $800, but you can get ZBrush Core for only $150. Next we have Blackmagic Fusion. This is really advanced compositing software. It's feature-rich and amazing, but that comes with the price tag of $1,000, but if you are a working visual effects artist, definitely give it a look. Going from pricey to free, we have Pixar's Renderman, which of course is a 3D renderer. This is another non-commercial product. It's completely free and fully functional, but you do have those non-commercial limitations. Moving on to tracking software, we have SynthEyes Intro and Pro. This is a camera tracker solver that has been used for tons of films. It's inexpensive compared to the other trackers at its level, but Pro is still very pricey at $500. However, you can get the Intro version, which lacks some advanced features, for $300. Then jumping way up in price again, if you're wanting to simulate fluids like ocean to small liquids or even destruction, take a look at RealFlow. It's the best of its kind, but again, you are paying for that at just over $1,000. Then jumping way back in price again, we have the app VFX Screens Pro. It's a $30 app that adds a tracking marker to your device to use for screen replacements later. Really handy to have. But now let's move away from software into hardware with RICOH's THETA S camera. It's a camera that shoots 360-degree images and video. You can shoot bracketed photos and use Photoshop or other apps to make HDRIs to make environment maps for your 3D renderers. Next up is the Wacom, however you want to say it, Intuos Pro Pen. It's $400 and it's a big tablet to use for illustration, 3D, and compositing. After that, we have the LG UltraWide IPS curved LED monitor. It's a $1,500 UltraWide monitor for more screen space to replace dual monitors, and also helps with head-eye strain, apparently. You can set quadrants and use multiple devices on the same screen at once, so it's really helpful when you have a big spread of things. Then we have the very important i1 Display Pro. This is a screen calibration probe to make sure your monitors are showing the correct colors. Next we have a video card with the GeForce GTX 1080 Founders Edition. It's a $700 video card that'll help speed up programs that use CUDA or GPU acceleration. And our last pick in hardware is this Samsung solid state drive. It's a super fast solid state hard drive, which can improve startup times, read-write times, and even improve your speed in programs that use files from the drive for playback like After Effects. Now we still have education assets to get to, but before we do that, let's thank our sponsor. If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, innovator, domain.com is the place to go when that next idea hits you. I know you've heard me say that the list of available domain extensions is growing, but you now have the opportunity to name your site and build your brands in ways that was never before possible. You can choose from a growing list of 400 plus domain name extensions like .com, .org, .design, and .club. And to show you some love, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FilmRiot at domain.com's checkout. And when you think domain names, think domain.com. Logo. Jumping right back in with some learnings. First up with Trigonometry for Dummies. This is a book that is more like a handbook to learn trigonometry. You may not think it's useful, but 3D is all trig, so getting a solid understanding of it is incredibly important. This book is written more like a reference, so you can just look things up and get quick explanations. After that, we have another book with Dictionary of Mathematic Terms. It's a $10 dictionary with examples on math terms, helpful for understanding terms or formulas that you may encounter. Then we have The Art and Science of Digital Compositing, one of, if not the best books ever written to understand the concepts behind digital compositing. No matter which program you use, the concepts are all the same, and this book explains them really easily. Then some more book action with Masters of Effects Behind the Scenes with Geniuses of Visual and Special Effects. This is Stark's personal favorite. It's about the best visual effects supervisors and their backstories, and how, what, where, when they learned and grew into their current and past careers. Then for online training courses, you have FXPHD. All teachers are current artists, and it even has an After Effects course taught by Gareth Edwards. Then we have CMIVFX CMIVFX. This and FXPHD both vary in price depending on what you get, but CMIVFX is online training that has many courses that focus more on specific program aspects rather than workflow. And finally, CG Society workshops. Like the other ones, the costs vary here. It has different online courses that are taught by working artists and are mentored with feedback so that you learn and get feedback on your work, which is a huge plus here.
Logo.
But that's it, our VFX wish list for current and upcoming VFX artists. If you have any questions on any of that, hit up Stark on Twitter right here. He's our resident visual effects expert, and I'll see you guys next week when Don Cheadle gives me a glimpse.